Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 166. We got some more great examples of just how expensive retooling an ICE factory to an EV factory is. And Tesla put all the rumors of demand problem in China to shame. And the Model Y is taking over both in China, Europe and the US. And BYD might be coming with their most important car to the European market this year. And Tesla is preparing to launch the Powerwall 3. And SpaceX is getting ready to launch the Starship. Oh yeah, and we might have some leaked pictures of the Model 3 Highland. And the plug-in hybrid sales are dropping out of the sky. And the Brandenburg minister says the Tesla effect is real. All of this and much more on today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
We got some more great examples of just how expensive retooling an ICE factory to an EV factory is. Ford is investing $1.8 billion Canadian dollars to transform its Oakville assembly complex into a Canadian hub of electric vehicles manufacturing that will include vehicle and battery pack assembly. As Ford writes, site's transformation is key to Ford's plan to reach a global production run rate of 2 million EVs annually by the end of 2026. Well, at least it will be able to be about 10% of those 2 million they are aiming for. This plant is only on 487 acres of land and it has a max capacity of 200,000 ICE vehicles right now, but almost $2 billion to retool yet another factory. And remember, Ford has over 60 factories around the world they need to retool. And it will take Ford about 1 year to retool this factory, and the retooling will not start before 2024. So this factory will not be ready before sometime by the second half of 2025. And Tesla will have a whole new factory built from the ground up in just 9 months in Mexico. On 4,200 acres of land, so about 2x the land mass of Texas, or about 10x Ford land in Canada. But we don't know the size of the Mexico factory just yet, but it should be bigger than the one in Texas, maybe twice the size, and Tesla's Texas factory is already about twice the size of Ford's Oakville complex, and it will be up and running about a year before Ford will have retooled their already existing factory, because this is much more difficult, as this also means they have to stop production of the ICE vehicles in this factory before they can retool it. And we still have analysts saying that Ford old ICE factories are an asset for Ford. No, they have to spend almost as much to retool these old outdated things as to build a whole new factory from the ground up, because after Ford has spent almost $2 billion, they will only have a capacity to build 200,000 EVs from this factory, where Tesla will spend more on their huge factory in Mexico, of course, but that factory will also be able to produce probably about 3 million vehicles, if not much more. But if we just say 3 million, well, Tesla will get about 15 times more vehicles produced out of the Mexico plant than Ford will get out of their Canada plant. But Tesla does not pay 15 times to get this plant up, because that would have meant that Tesla would have to pay $30 billion on this factory to have the same amount of spending per vehicle the factory can produce compared to Ford's. But Tesla will only spend about $10 billion in several phases, so only 5 times more to get 15 times more output. When these two factories are fully ramped, Tesla will make 3 million vehicles with a price tag of about $25,000, versus Ford's fully ramped will be 200,000 units with maybe a price tag of $50,000, as they only make large SUVs and pickup trucks. So for $2 billion of investment will generate $10 billion in revenue for Ford, where Tesla's $10 billion in investment will bring $75 billion in revenue. And Ford will probably still lose money on their EVs, as it will take a long time for them to get down from losing $22,000 on every EV they sell to become profitable. But Tesla will probably still earn about 20% margin on their small compact car coming out of the Mexico factory. So it's $75 billion. Well, Tesla will probably earn something like $15 billion in profits. So that factory will earn about $5 billion more in profits than Ford does in revenue. Yeah, Tesla's return on investment is just unreal compared to anyone else in the auto industry. This is such a good showcase of how Tesla does things and how the legacy automakers are trying to manipulate their existing ICE assets into becoming an EV generating asset. That some people can look at these numbers and think, yeah, Ford is about to catch up or even crush Tesla, is beyond my understanding. Ford is doing many good things, but catching up to Tesla is not one of them. But even though Tesla, the company, is doing great and the others can't catch up, that does not always reflect in the Tesla stock. As in 2022, Tesla made a record year, while their stock was down 70%. And whether you know it or not, Tesla's performance really matters to the wider market. Even the average American retirement accounts are closely entwined with Tesla's stock's performance. You see, the S&P 500 is the most popular index used by the public to build their retirement investment, and that includes a lot of exposure to Tesla's volatile stock. So much, in fact, that it cost the index investors billions of dollars, accounting for 10% of the S&P's total loss in 2022. In other words, whether or not you own Tesla shares. Every portfolio from big asset managers to beginner investors experienced major pain last year. And while true, Tesla investors are, of course, long-term investors, this does mean it can be hard to find some gain in the short term, but there are always ways to protect your wealth and get back some of the wealth you should have had. Like investing in an asset that outpaced the S&P 500 by more than 2x over the last 26 years. An asset that even Elon Musk is investing in. I am, of course, talking about contemporary art. This asset class market used to be nearly impossible to get access to, but now you can access it in minutes without needing millions of dollars to buy a piece. Thanks to Masterworks, the sponsor of this video. Masterworks paid out tens of millions of dollars in total to their investors last year, when Tesla stocks were down 70%, and that's not a one-off. Every Masterworks exit to date has delivered a net return of over 9%, and they just sold another offering at the end of March, delivering a realized profit of over 15% to its investors. With nearly 700,000 users, Masterworks offerings are sold out in minutes. They even had to make a waiting list for new users, but I got a special access for my followers to skip this waiting list. So click the link in the description to get started today. And thanks to Masterworks for sponsoring this video. And Tesla is taking over in the overall car market in China. The Chinese Passenger Car Association reported that Tesla had 76,663 sales in March. Giga Shanghai delivered 88,869 Model 3s and Ys, including domestic sales and export. And of those 88,000, the Model Y stands for about 69, yes, once again 69, of those Model 3 and Y sales combined. So this was more than what was expected on the basis of the insurance figures. And Mars did come close to the last monthly record of 78,000 units in June of last year. And they grew 11% quarter over quarter and 24% year over year. This resulted in the best quarter ever for Tesla China. In the Chinese market, where most other automakers are down, and Tesla took 20% of the BEV market share in China. But if we don't look at the BEV market, but just the overall car market in China, well, what do you know? The Model Y did become the best-selling passenger car in the world's biggest car market in China. So in the most competitive EV market on the planet, and the biggest car market on the planet, where the Tesla queues have been screaming about Tesla having demand problem, Tesla has the best selling car, period. If this is having demand problem, I can't wait to see what it looks like when Tesla does not have a demand problem. The Model Y, the best selling car, period. And as you can see on this list of the 15 best-selling cars in China in Q1, both the Model Y and the Model 3 beat Toyota's Corolla. That's just very impressive. If this does not signal the end of the ICE car, that both the Model Y and the Model 3 is better selling models than the global all-time favorite, the Toyota Corolla, I don't know what paints the better picture for all the doubters. And we can also see that ships are starting to leave China again for the export, as the export will start increasing again here for Q2. But at the same time, we can see on the insurance data that week 1 in April is the best first week in a quarter for the last 4 quarters in China for domestic sale. So this is probably also because the Berlin factory has finally got up to volume production. So not as many cars from China are needed for the European market. So they are focusing more on the domestic sales, even here in the beginning of the quarter, where Tesla usually export pretty much every car they make. So we should see new records for domestic sales in China in Q2 as well, if the trend continues. So all the rumors about demand problem in China have been put to shame. And another record was broken in the US. Q1 electric vehicle sales surpassed 250,000, as EV market share in the US jumped to 7.2% of total sales. So that is awesome and should only rise during the last 3 quarters. So my bet is still that the US BEV market share will end up somewhere about 12% this year. But these numbers are still estimates. It is not official numbers. But the exact numbers we have estimating here is 258,885 units, and of those electric cars, Tesla stood for 161,630 and still stands for 62% of the BEV market. Just look at this list. One company kind of stands out a bit. And no, I'm not talking about the 2 Hummer EVs, even though they stand out a bit. But look at Tesla's sales compared to everyone else. When does that competition come? I mean, this is ridiculous. And we even have numbers for Tesla as high as 170,000 units. So we will see when we get the official numbers. And in comparison, the BMW numbers we have got, Tesla shines in the luxury market in the US no matter propulsion. BMW sold 82,466 vehicles in Q1. So no matter what the official number for Tesla will end up being, it will be about twice the amount of the runner-up in the luxury segment. No contest here. So we hear Tesla is losing BEV market share. Yes, of course, as more EVs comes to market, Tesla will lose BEV market share. That is just math. And even Yahoo and CNBC is starting to get this, so we will see what Gordon Johnson will say about that. But Tesla is gaining market share in the overall market, went from basically nothing to 3.5% in 6 years. And this is the market share that really counts in the end when we have a 100% BEV market. Now Tesla has a 62% market share of 250,000 electric vehicles in Q1. I would rather they have only 20% market share of 3.75 million electric vehicles in a quarter in the future when they're all EVs. But I guess someone like Gordon Johnson just doesn't get this. Yes, they are down in BEV market share, but they are gaining in the overall market share and still growing. This is math even a child in 2nd grade would understand. This is as clear as day that Tesla is going in one way and one way only. That he can convince anybody of his numbers is beyond me. But anyway, we don't know the mix between the Y and the 3 yet, and the few S and X's, but if we go with the mix we know from China, where the Y is 69% of the 3 and Y numbers, well, if we take the 2.5% from the total numbers that the S and X represent in Q1, and then take 69% of the rest, we end up with 108,736 Model Ys sold in the US. This is still more units than all of the competition combined. So everyone else sold 97,255 units of all their hundreds of EV models. But Tesla need more models. I think we can take a big sledgehammer through that narrative that Tesla need more models. No, you need to take a look at my video about production range architecture if you still don't get it. And if this is the Tesla numbers, Tesla's Model Y should be sitting on something like the 5th or the 6th place of best-selling vehicle model in the US overall car market. So not just dominating the EV market and the luxury market, but also a top model in the overall car market. And it is the same trend we see in Europe as well. Model Y domination. And in my country of Denmark, the Model Y is dominating the car market, not just the EV market. Best-selling car, period. And Tesla is even the best-selling brand, period. And we have 46% plug-in and 30% BEVs. And no one of the German OEMs has 30% BEV in their production, so they will for sure all be down in Q1 in my country, as they don't have the supply that meets the demand for BEVs in Denmark, or Norway, or Sweden for that matter. But this goes for almost all of Europe. We don't have all the numbers for Q1 yet, but Tesla's Model Y was the best-selling car in Europe in February, and their numbers should be even higher in March, so no doubt that the Model Y will be the clear winner in Europe in 2023. In Germany, the BEV market still belongs to Tesla. And even in the overall car market in Germany, Tesla's Model Y sits on the 4th place, only being beaten by more affordable Volkswagen models. But the Model Y beats all of Audi's ICE models, or BMW's models, or Mercedes models. And this is when the management of Mercedes plant in Bremen is cancelling more shift and asking thousands of employees to stay home. But don't worry guys, Tesla is hiring. You can get a job at Tesla Brandenburg that is looking to implement the 4th shift at the Berlin factory. And if we look at the UK, another big market in Europe, the Model Y was the best-selling car in March, period. And year to date, it also came in at the 4th place. And in total, Tesla is by far the best-selling EV brand in Europe, selling almost twice the amount of the runner-up, the Volkswagen brand. And even if we compare it to the automotive groups of Europe, Tesla is now only 5,000 units from overtaking the entire Volkswagen group. 2 weeks ago, there were 9,000 between them. So Tesla is gaining and gaining fast. Yes, Tesla is growing so fast in Europe, they are even gaining in the BEV market share. I mean, how slow is all of this competition? As you can see on this chart here, Tesla is going from 15% in 2022 to 21% in 2023. We can see here when the Volkswagen brand came out with the ID.3 at the end of the year of 2020, where they pushed out the ID.3 that was not done yet and have taken many of them back because of customers' complaints, but they actually had a bigger BEV market share in Europe for most of 2021. But Volkswagen has been feeling all the competition, but Tesla grew in BEV market share. So, should not be possible, but a big testimony to the effect of Tesla's Berlin factory that is ramping out more EVs than any other brand is able to do with all their many models. Yes, the Tesla Model Y taking over China, Europe, and the US. And BYD will launch is probably the most important car for the European market this year. BYD will launch the Dolphin in Europe this year as its most affordable EV. And that is kind of an EV that many people have been waiting for. An affordable small hatchback. And the ID.3 is not really that affordable. But this will be a direct competitor with the ID.3 since it's a direct copy of the ID.3, but should have a starting price that is 10,000 euros less than the ID.3. So we will see how it will be priced, because this is going to be very important, because as I made a whole video about, the BYD Han is also too expensive in my country. I don't think many people are going to buy it at these prices. As we can also see, they are not. In all of Q1, BYD sold a combined of 34. Yeah, that's it. 34 units from their 2 EV models available in my country. And 32 of those were the Auto 3. That is priced about the same price as the ID3, but the Han, which cost $38,000 more than the Model 3, has only sold 2. You can get the Performance Model Y, including full self-driving package and all the whistles and bells, for $14,000 cheaper than the starting price of the Han. And in comparison, as I showed earlier, Tesla sold 5,225 units. So even though BYD has come to Europe, they are not really competition yet. But maybe the Dolphin will change that if this car is going to be priced just right. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. And BYD also previewed a new body control system designed specifically for plug-in hybrids and electric vehicles. It demonstrated the new technology at its headquarters on the upcoming U9 electric supercar from their Yangwang brand, its luxury brand. And they showed off just how much control they have over the suspension when it drew on stage, and even ended up by making the car jump off the ground. So that was pretty cool, nice party trick. But they also showed off this video of the car driving, but with only 3 wheels. That was pretty impressive and a cool feature. If you should have a flat tire, you don't even need a spare tire. You can just adjust the suspension accordingly. Pretty cool. And Twitter now officially is X Corporation. Or at least Twitter is under the umbrella of X.com, so Elon is starting making X.com, the everything app, happen. And Twitter has also purchased roughly 10,000 graphic processor units and have 2 AI engineers from Alphabet DeepMind join the Twitter team last month. The AI project is at an early stage, but it's said to involve a large language model. And Twitter does have a massive amount of data that could train a language model, so we will see what comes out of all of this. And speaking of Twitter, Elon did an interview with BBC on Twitter Space and kind of roasted the interview a bit, but up towards 3.3 million people was listening. As Joshua wrote on Twitter, holy shit, 3.3 million currently listening in Elon's Twitter Space. CNN has an average weekly audience of 409,000. So yeah, Elon has a very big reach on Twitter than any other mainstream media outlet. And Tesla has delivered another 54 semi-trucks to Pepsi. And Sean wrote on Twitter about his full self-driving version 11.3.6. 1 hour drive, non-stop, city, freeway, highway, rural, not one intervention and 0 disengagements. Improved dramatically since yesterday. Yes, as I said before, we have entered the steep climb of the learning curve. And Tesla is preparing to launch the Powerwall 3, the 3rd generation of the home battery pack, according to information obtained by Electric. Tesla did tease this on Investor Day, but didn't say anything about it, but clearly a Powerwall under the cover there. So now we are only missing what was under the last cover. But we don't have any specs yet, but considering Tesla's Powerwall 3 is already certified by a handful of electric utilities, according to Electric, we could expect this product to be launched very soon. And hopefully coming to Europe as well, Elon. Yes, and that is probably why we see Tesla make another price cut on the Powerwall in Australia, as they are making room for the new one to come to market, as the Powerwall dropped another $2,000 again in Australia. And the Powerwall did start in a whole new market this week in Thailand, so I hope this means more countries are on its way. And Tesla's Giga Berlin is helping to develop the Brandenburg success story, says the State Economy Minister Jörn Steinbach. It's true that the state is benefiting from this. The Tesla effect is real, he says. But Steinberg, haven't you heard? Tesla is setting up solar panels over their parking lot. Protest! Sue them! Stop production! But Tesla announced they will build another Megapack factory in Shanghai, another 40 gigawatt hours of megapacks capacity, and another $20 billion in revenue, maybe something like $8 billion in profits when this is up and running at full capacity. It should be ready to start production in about 1 year from now. If you want to learn more about it, I did make a whole video about this week, so check that one out, link down below. According to a recent study by American Trucks, Tesla's logo is already more recognizable than the logos of much more experienced car manufacturers such as Toyota, Mercedes, and Lexus. Yeah, and Tesla has such a strong brand, and the Cybertruck is such a unique looking truck it doesn't even get the Tesla logo, because everyone will know that's a Tesla. What is that? Is that a Ford F-150 Lightning or Silverado? I don't know, but that's a Tesla. And the Cybertruck was spotted this week, and we got confirmation on that the Frunk does open up like the F-150 Lightning Power Frunk, so that is very nice to see. And you can now get the Tesla Model Y in the US with the 4680 cells, again as the cheapest model in the Model Y lineup. So hopefully this is a good sign that Tesla's 4680 cell production at the Texas factory is ramping up. The 4680 cell is probably the reason why the Texas factory is not ramping up as fast as Berlin, as they don't have to mess with its 4680 cell just yet. So this is a good sign that the 4680 cell Model Y production line might finally be getting some momentum. And SpaceX should be ready with the Starship to fly its first test flight with the heavy booster. So we could see this take off as early as tomorrow, but if fate has a little bit of humor, it will probably happen on 4/20, April the 20th. But if all possible, I will be doing a live stream of this event when it takes off, so coming out, because this is the first step of changing our civilization forever. And we saw some pictures of what might be the Model 3 Highland, but we still don't know if this is real, so don't get too excited. But if it is, the front of the car will definitely be different and look like it has taken a few tricks and details from the front of the Roadster. So looking very good there. If this is the case, I think this would be very, very cool. But we will see if it turns out to be legit. And consumers in the US and Canada shows high confidence in Tesla according to a survey. About 40% of respondents trust the company's product, and about 37% are ready to buy them in the future. Nice. And we see come to fruition what I have been saying for years. The plug-in hybrids will be going away as pure BEVs are taking over. As Audi this week said to Handelsblatt, a German outlet, that Audi will stop selling plug-in hybrids after a massive sales drop in China market and focus on sale of internal combustion engines and BEVs in the world's most important growth market. Yes, growth market for BEVs, not ICE cars. They are falling off a cliff there. But German manufacturers for plug-in hybrids have gone from a combined 34% to just 7%. And the local Chinese manufacturer has just taken over. So the Germans are really losing ground in every segment in China, their biggest market. But the downfall for hybrids is not just in China. New registrations of hybrids in Germany plummeted by 39% in March compared to same month last year. Yes, people are starting to realize that hybrids are just stupid. You get a really bad EV, but not really any benefits from the EV because you still have to maintain that dirty ICE engine as well. And don't forget, the world's #1 home energy and electric vehicle show, the Fully Charged Live Show, will return to England over the weekend of the 28th to 30th of April, following the success of the event around the world in Sydney, San Diego, and Netherlands. And it will also be another event in England on the 19th to the 21st of May. So if you can't make it in April, maybe you can come in May, where over 30 speaker sessions will be held, featuring presenters from the Fully Charged Live Show, expert panels, and special guests. And I will be one of those special guests, so if you come to the Fully Charged Live Show, don't forget to come and say hi. And Brian from My Tesla Weekend will also be there, so hope to see some of all you guys over there to see all the cool new stuff in the EV revolution. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my news members and patrons of this new show. My new Patreon producer, Ron Kuhnel, and my new YouTube member, George Hayles. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And a big and special thanks to Supporter of the Week, and this week's winner is Goldie1. He has been a thank you for watching members of mine for a month, but he's always the first in the comment section. So thank you so much for all your support. Please contact me on this email down below so I can get you your address so I can send you your Supporter of the Week winner t-shirt. And let's end off with a bit of fun. A big dog with a big heart, but a very small bed.
Why are you standing in the kitty bed? Is it because the kitty is in your bed? Huh? Is that it? Oh my God. Oh, buddy.
That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And don't forget, if you want to become an executive producer and get news articles every day, Monday to Friday, the video series Becoming News, and access to all my research and charts and spreadsheets and much more, and become part of my little exclusive club of executive producers, head over to bestintester.com and join with the members button. But hurry up, it will be limited to 100 members only. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible, and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.